So what happens when you get the guy who did 12 Years a Slave to write a Superman story?
And I know me and you, we want the same things. We have the same desires. Well, now that I've got you back here, all alone with me, I'm gonna give you what you want.
Yeah, that's pretty much what you get. Let's talk about it. Oh man. So of course, what is up you guys? My name is Mario, aka the Loot Box Hero, aka YouTube's greatest fat man here, bringing you another video. Alright, so I know I haven't been on the second channel a lot, but the main channel is kind of popping right now. So, and of course January comes and that might not, later this month comes and, lots of coverage going down for Legends Arceus on my main channel, RS Mario, so check that out. But right now, let's talk about Superman. Okay, so I was on Twitter, and I usually check Twitter a couple times a day to see what's trending, what people are talking about. And I found out that Superman was trending, and I was like, oh, well, they finally pulled the trigger on Black Superman. Let's see if it's good, bad, or should I just be indifferent? I checked it out, and it won't Black Superman. So what's going on here is John Ridley, the guy who wrote the screenplay for 12 Years a Slave, the movie starring Chiwetel Ejiofor, he was brought on to do a anthology story, or a 6-book anthology of Superman. And usually I like anthologies because they're kind of like these little interesting short stories put into a big collection, kind of like Star Wars Visions. But this started off in the worst way you possibly could. So this story, Superman Red and Blue #1, follows Superman, and this takes place during World's Finest 192 and 193, where Superman was captured in Lubania, which is like some Eastern Bloc country on the ass end of Eastern Europe. And essentially he is hit with synthetic kryptonite radiation. So these scientists in this bootleg, bombed out Eastern European country were able to come up with synthetic kryptonite radiation. Okay, I believe you. But yeah, and so they essentially depower Superman, and he has to hide, from them, and eventually he gets captured. And this story is about what happened during his capture. It's essentially Superman 8 months a slave. That's essentially what this story is. And even at the time that the guy was making the story, he said most of the stuff he was writing was looked at through a racial lens, a lens of civil rights and whatnot. And this is very much a story, that's looking at Superman through that lens. Because while he's here, he's put into a work camp, he's made to work, he's tortured, and it is implied that Superman, this big piece of Americana, this icon of American culture, gets the booty warrior treatment in jail, or in this prison. And of course, people flipped out about this. The Get Woke Go Broke crowd was mad about this. Superman, for comic book fans, are mad. People who are normally in the middle of the culture war are they sounding like people that are on the other side, the right side of the culture war. People mad. They are mad, man. And I'm like, okay, I understand this. And so of course I even kind of jumped at this a little bit. And I usually try to catch, get context for things. That's why I went and read it. Did I buy it? Hell no. But I did go and read the story though. And I have to say, the narrative is very interesting. Like this story is very unfortunate because it is essentially a good narrative that is hindered by bad timing and a really, really unnecessary scene. Like it's kind of unnecessary to have Superman get raped. Like you could have they could have did like Game of Thrones did with Cersei, and that cult of people that got blown up in Game of Thrones, where she got the shame. And more than likely, a communist country would probably do that if they captured a big, something that was big and important to the West and to America. They would parade it and shame it around everywhere. And more than likely, if they caught Superman, that's what they would do. I seriously doubt they would be ready to, pump and dump Superman. I doubted they would be willing to do that. I mean, I don't know. Maybe some weird stuff be going over there on the other side of the Iron Curtain. But, I mean, this story is just unfortunate. Because without those two things, it would be better. I would advise you to read the story. Before you come to a determination on what's going on, read the story. Because it actually has some good points. Like, about it's a story where Superman gets humanized twice. One by the radiation, and the second time is when he has to interview the leader of this communist country as Clark Kent. And of course, because this is the Superman universe, people can't tell that Clark Kent is Superman, even if you look Superman dead in the face. You know what I'm saying? But the guy doesn't know that Clark Kent is Superman. And Superman pushes him on the topic, like, oh, do you feel any remorse about the people who were abused and who were killed in your camps? And the dude kind of is like, oh, well, stuff like that happened and we just have to move on. And I'm like, yeah, I think I see where he was going with this. Because, again, this is the guy who wrote 12 Years a Slave, and a lot of people like to tell black people to kind of move on from what happened in the past. And he was probably salty about that, so he said, I'm gonna rape this piece of Americana that you really like. Good gosh, man. This dude's probably a nice person, but yeah, you wrecked this story with that, man. Honestly, without that, this would have been much better. And one of the reasons I say that is because when you do something like that, it's hard for people to see the forest for the trees, if you understand what I'm saying. People aren't going to get past the fact that you raped Superman, alright, to see all this stuff that you want them to see, They're not going to be able to get the finer points of your story because they can't get past this. And it feels like they did this for shock value. They did this to kind of shock you, like, oh man, that's crazy, and to get your attention. But they messed up because you can't get your attention off of the distraction to get to the finer point of the story. I mean, look what other narratives have tried to do this. Look at Last of Us Part 2. Last of Us Part 2 tried to do the same thing. They killed Joel, and even though there was a lot more to the story of this game, people can't get past the fact that they killed Joel, how they killed Joel, and who killed Joel. So if they would have did that better, people would probably like the game better. Even though I still think the first 4 hours of that game is a depressing slog. Still, I mean, people would have liked the game better if they would have did that one element better than they did. And that's the same thing I have to say about this Superman. Alright, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was the wrong time to do this. I mean, because one reason why I could definitely see people reacting this way is not because, like, oh, they don't like the story written by a black man. It's because look at what's happened to all these characters, okay? Luke Skywalker went from one of the greatest characters in fiction to being a old curmudgeon-y man that drinks green titty milk and runs from his problem. I mean, look what they've done to all of these, like, male characters, and to see somebody like Superman get treated like this, people are gonna see that as just another attack on heroes that they like. So what do you have to say about this one? What do you think about it? Go ahead and comment below. Tell me how you feel. I was mad, and then that little dig they have at the end, a little dig at capitalism. I'm like, see, I don't like getting political, but see, y'all making me mad. So Tell me what you think. Of course, like, comment, subscribe, and as always, good day to you.